calm part, but I feel like it's about to pick back up again. So this is after Eagle Eye after 39 minutes. Eagle Eye movie review. Eagle Eye movie review after 39 minutes. Okay. So, just a couple things I just kind of sort of didn't mention. I did mention that Jerry, which is Shia LaBeouf, Jerry's brother was like super smart. Had a 183 IQ, but he just passed away. So then there was all this stuff that got sent to Jerry's house, and there's like a framer setup or something like that. Jerry, you've been activated. So when the interrogation guy he was like, when he met up with the lady from 7 Pounds movie, he was like, she's Air Force, I think, or something like that. And he met up with her, and so he's talking to her. He was like, this guy had 183. Like, what did you have him doing? And like, whatever his brother was doing, he just felt like, why didn't you have him in IT, or you had him in like a higher, like something, until like, why you have him at whatever? It's like you kind of sort of were wasting his abilities, his intellect, his talents, his skills, something like that. His skill set could have been way more used or something. So she's like, so what do you? She's like, what do you suggest him? He was like, I don't know if his brother was there on some like, he's a secret rocket scientist and like he could do this whole whatever type of thing, because that's what he's trying to like, they're kind of trying to pinpoint on the brother, because the brother did not pursue, as a whole bunch of, but Jerry's brother, super smart, does the whole whatever. He has a decent something, because I think he was in that sector with the Air Force lady or something, and he was like, okay, but y'all didn't have him. He's like, he could have been like some secret rocket scientist or something like that. Like, and maybe he was trying to like some big plan to do whatever, bang bang people. Because remember, all the artillery was sent to Jerry's house, so they're trying to piece together this whole thing, because they say, because the brother passed away in like a car crash or something. Like, yeah, the car crash was a truck driver, this and that, third, and so trying to piece together all that or whatever. So I just want to make sure I mention that thing or whatever, because he's like, I'm not sure if he has, like, his brother was just had some secret plan operation to, take over the world, or just do something like, just outrageous or whatever. So I just want to make sure that was that conversation. With the lady, her name is Rachel. All right, now I know both of them names. Jerry, he's the main character, that's Shia LaBeouf. Rachel's the other lady that has a son that she just sent off to camp or whatever. So Rachel is the one that was at the bar with her friends. She gets out, she gets the call. Rachel, you've been activated. She looks across the street, she sees her son on the TV, and she was like, this and that third. She was like, there's a Porsche Cayenne. So as I'm watching this movie, I'm like, why they choose a Porsche for this part of the movie? Because like certain stuff is like, it's advertisement. Why didn't they choose a Lamborghini? What you do? Why I would if I. I'm trying to get this one little saying. It's a person in a Ferrari wishing they had a Lamborghini. You get the Ferrari wishing you had a Lamborghini. It's a person in a Porsche wishing they had a Ferrari. It's anyway, they use the Porsche. She's like, so Rachel gets the call. She was like, Rachel, there's walk down the street, there's a black Porsche Cayenne with the keys in it that you need to get in the street. She gets the call, you've been activated in the third. They tell her to go down the street, get in the black Porsche Cayenne. She gets out the call, she calls 911. Hey, this lady just called me. Your phone's being monitored. Disobey again and your son's eliminated. So that was her, right? So then it cuts back to Jerry. Jerry's at the whole escape thing. Now, there's like, when they crashed he was being in the interrogation, whatever, they gave him a call. He goes to call, the lady was like, we got your escape plan. You got 4 seconds. He was like, da-da-da, boom, boom, boom. 2 seconds, get down. Da-da-da, boom, boom. Ah-da-da. Psh, like the little crane crashes into the jank. And then the little, like I said, the LED sounds like, jump, Jerry. And he was like, yes, Jerry, jump. He jumps. He rolls off. He gets on the train. That's why I stopped it off at the 28-minute mark. Now, from there, Jerry gets on the train, right? So he's on the train, and then the guy next to him, the year is 2008. He has the wire headphones. He sleep. But the phone's ringing, and the phone rings and says, answer the phone. It says something. It's like answer now, Jerry. So he answers. So, but this is the other guy's phone. He doesn't know. It's just a stranger on the train. So that's sleep. But the phone is saying answer the phone, Jerry, or something like that. And so he grabs the phone. He answered, and the lady on the phone was like, "Get off on the next 3 stops. There's gonna be there's gonna be somebody doing the wait for you." He hangs up. Right? He hangs up, and then mind you, he's supposed to get off 3 stops later. He gets off the train. He goes, what does he do? He gets on the opposite train going in the other direction. And then and then so the lady was like, he gets a call again. The lady's like, you disobeyed. He was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this in the Thursday. I'm not doing this, right? So, mind you, he got off the train. He was supposed to take that train, go down 3 stops. Then he gets off the train. He goes on the other train going the opposite direction. And then he hangs up. So I'm not doing this, that, boom, boom, boom. Then she was like, you disobeyed and this, that, that, boom, boom. Now, when he was like, I'm not done, I'm not doing this. And then the train, mind you, that train was going in the opposite direction. When he hangs up on her again, the train goes, the train stops, right? And then the train starts going in the opposite direction. So he disobeyed, mind you. He disobeyed. So the train stops, starts going in the opposite direction. And then because he wants to be insubordinate and he don't feel like he about to follow directions, everybody's phone starts ringing. Everybody on the phone. Oh, that's what I forgot to mention. When he was getting interrogated, they are trying to say the one guy that was interrogating him, because he was like, I don't know your name. And the guy was like, oh, well, forgive me. That's rude of me, isn't it? I'm Tom Morgan, and I'm a part of the head of the terrorist division or whatever. And he was like, whoa, you think I'm a terrorist? So the guy, Tom Morgan, is supposed to be like the head of the terrorist or whatever, the terrorist division. And so then, I forgot to mention that too. And then so on the train, he disobeyed. He went on the opposite train, going the opposite direction. And then when he hangs up on a lady again, all the phones, everybody's phone on that train is like, the lady basically says, yeah, the guy standing right there, boom, boom. Like she gives a description of him, and his name is Jerry Shaw, and he's a terrorist, and this and that. Right? So everybody on the train gets a call and basically and the lady identifies him as a terrorist and this and that third. So people on the train like, you're Jerry Shaw? You're Jerry Shaw? And then so this little police guy comes running, of course this is big, you Jerry Shaw? And then so he's like, so then he hops off that train, right? So he hops off that train and then he gets a call because the lady was like, yeah, you need to go down to whatever this street is, and then there's gonna be a black Porsche Cayenne waiting for you. Get in the passenger seat. So he hops out that train. He runs down to Wilson Street or whatever, and then he sees the black Porsche Cayenne. Oh, but yeah, I was about to say why did they because that's like advertising, bro. It's in a movie, a black Porsche Cayenne, right? Why did they choose that car as the getaway car? So he gets in the black Porsche Cayenne. This was the same car that when Rachel got her call, Rachel was supposed to walk down the street and get in the black Porsche Cayenne. He hops in the passenger seat, and then it's Rachel. He hops in the passenger seat, and she's Rachel. Now, Rachel starts arguing with him because she thinks that he has something to do with her son. So she was like, what are you doing with my son? And did that. So he was like, I don't know your son. I don't know. Just drive. Get. So they're going back and forth. Because she's like, if you do anything to my son, he's like, bro, who are you? I don't know your son. So, but then he said something about the lady calling him. And she's like, oh, she called you too? So then they get to the point of okay, they both got a call from this lady talking that they've been activated. So, but then the car's like, you need to start driving. So the lady and so they get in the car. Well, they're in the car. They start driving, but now Tom Morgan and the police and all of them are chasing them. And so they do a good job at this next little part, this little sequence. It's a high-speed chase, of course. And she's sitting there telling them, okay, you need to speed up to 60 miles per hour, or you need to stop, you need to brake, turn right, turn left, speed up to 72 miles per hour, hold your speed, hit the brake, stop, pause. And so like, as long as they follow directions, like like the lady is like, whatever is happening, all the cops are like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's traffic and stuff, and so stuff is happening. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. It's a high speed chase, and she's telling them what to do. And as long as they whatchamacallit, like it's a whole bunch of cop cars crashing and this and the third, so cars is flipping over. They do good a job of this. And the reason I say it's a good job is because the last movie I watched was 50 Shades of Grey. And I forget which one it was, maybe 50 Shades Free. And one of them, they was trying to do like a high speed thing. It wasn't done that well. But in this movie, the high speed chase is done pretty well. And so the lady's giving them all the directions, and as long as they follow the directions, speed up to 60 miles per hour, you're gonna make it. And he's like, what? And the lights are changing from red to green, and this and the third, boom, boom, boom. So they keep going. All these cop cars are getting flipped over and then crashing, and this and the third. Then it gets to like, I guess like almost like by the pier, there's like trash and boats and whatever. They go over there. But in this little part, it's like cranes. So then like a crane picks up one cop car, throws it, and or just or another one gets ran over by a bulldozer. It's stuff like that happening. So it's like, oh, it's like a whole bunch. It's like just action packed. Just keep going, keep going. Like this is for the like. So this went from the 28-minute mark to this 39-minute mark. So like it's been action packed from the 17-minute mark up until whatchamacallit. Like it's just been just going, 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 going. Then finally, like they getting basically she was like, just keep going, follow these directions. I'm gonna clear all the stuff up for you. And then eventually it gets to the point where like the last cop car gets picked up, thrown, and then they're sitting in the car. It slows down, so it sounds like, whew, right? Like most of the cop cars got eliminated, but then the crane picks up their car, the black Porsche Cayenne, and then the lady's like, y'all need to jump, or you're gonna drown. And then so they jump and they land. Thankfully, they land in like, it's not trash. I don't know. They land in like basically like trash. That's what I would like kind of just for conversation purposes. They land in trash, and then the thing, the crane drops the black Porsche Cayenne in the water. So that thing is done. That black Porsche Cayenne is just beat up and this and that third, right? That falls in the water. Now, I don't know, like you know how like with movies, so that's nighttime. Like that happens, right? And then and then the next scene is daytime. So what? They sat there all night on the little whatever, and floating there was something. I don't know. And then, but like Tom Morgan and all the other cops, it was like, this is I don't know. This is just me. This is how I look at certain stuff. This was like bad. This was bad because it's a small detail, but this is bad because it's nighttime when this whole cop chase scene is happening. And like I said, like they fall into the trash, and then they're like, all right, we gotta they go to get the black Porsche Cayenne out the water. But like when they fell in the trash, the next scene is daytime. And then, so I'm like, okay, were they floating there all night? And then and then Tom Morgan and all the cops is out there, and they pull the black Porsche, and it's like, all right, well, yeah, they couldn't get an ID on the woman. You know, the traffic lights and stuff wasn't working, and let me see what else happens. The traffic light wasn't working. They couldn't get an ID on the woman. Like, we gotta find her out. Why is these cranes just all of a sudden moving? Who's operating these cranes? They're picking up stuff like chopsticks, and throwing cars and stuff. So there was that, and then. I think that's why. Okay, this is why I paused, because it's like it got to like a calm, like a chill part. So all that was happening, and then they don't have an ID on her. They're trying to figure this stuff out, and yeah. And then from there, Rachel, you know, her whole thing is her son. She don't want her son to get. They threaten her with her son, and so she calls him, and her son's like, yeah, you know, just leave a message, even though I know it's you, Mom. So, you know, that's his voicemail. She's like, Sam, when you get this, call me. I love you. She says that, and then, you know, they finally exchange, and they're like, what's your name? Rachel. Jerry Shaw. So, Then she was like, "You think she could derail a train?" He was like, "She changed all the traffic lights from red to green. She had all these cop cars. She started operating all these cranes in this and the third." He didn't mention the part where she what she did with the train when he was on it when he disobeyed when he was on the train and had the train go in the opposite direction. But he was like, there was a stranger's phone. I didn't know this person, and I had and she called me from a stranger's phone, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure she could derail a train." So they had this whole little conversation like that while they sitting on the whatchamacallit. And then but they just got another call. So I was like, let me just do this real quick before it picks back up. But yes, that is 39 minutes of Eagle Eye. So if you like action pack, it does satisfy that it's getting there. It has taken a turn. It has gotten a lot better. The action has saved it. So the first 17 minutes what's with it? The 17 minutes after that is all right, bro. This is what you call it. So we still got to figure out what's really going on. Don't know exactly. Well, apparently, his brother this and third, but the whole what's the real, story with his brother, and why did they choose Jerry Shaw and the Rachel lady? What does it mean that they've been activated? And I think just another little cool thing. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's this not this high tense and this whatchamacallit. But because like the one thing is basically like if they disobey, like there's no such like if they disobey, like things are just going to happen, like and just things are going to happen fast. So it's like they can't like because he tried to escape or do this and the third, and like you see like he tried to jump from one train to the next, and then that train stopped and started going back the other direction. It's like there is no disobeying, and you see like they can just automatically control these trains and have these traffic lights. So whoever is whatchamacallit is like this grand hacker or whatever. Bro, my head really itching right now, bro. But it's like that. I don't know. Like basically, the point I'm trying to make is like, would that be cool in a sense of maybe if it's a period of time, right? Where it's like, okay, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. And because, like, the thing is, they're going to be okay as long as they follow direction, whatever okay means. But if they disobey, then, like, things be happening, they be happening fast. So, like, low key, it's like, even though there's like like, okay, there's a hesitancy into just follow, you getting orders and direction from this random whatever. But it's like you at this point you need to follow these directions because it's keeping you alive, right? So that's one. I just haven't whatchamacallit, like I was basically trying to say like, would that be cool? And do you think you could like really, you know, not survive or I'm not sure like the exact point I'm trying to make. Like it's partially cool, but like you know, high tense and stress and this and that. But like if you had to, right? Then it was like, okay, yo, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, like you gotta follow the direction, and like you'll be okay. You're gonna survive, right? Even if it's just for a period of time. I don't know what the whole point is. Let's see. I gotta get to the end of the movie, but just still on something because I'm just thinking about in life though, right? If you had, because they talk about free will and different like that, right? But if you had like, oh, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, okay, and like if you don't do it, like I'm just relating to this and on some like general life thing, because like yeah, if it was like okay, follow this direction, you need to do this, you need to do this, and even if it's scary, jump, you need to jump, or you gotta do this, you gotta do this, like, and you'll be okay. But like if not, things be happening and just be whoop, whoop, this be happening, and then but then the other part of like, there's no escape. You have to do it anyway. You not doing it is it's like a life lesson almost. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you not doing it, it leads to like all this other stuff happening, and then you eventually have to do it anyway. So this is Eagle Eye after 39 minutes. Hopefully, I can get a better explanation for that little part that I was just trying to say. But it's one of those things like free will not being really free will. There's fate and destiny. Carl Jung has a quote: "Until you make your unconscious conscience, it will guide your life, and you'll call it fate." So, and again, not really having free will, like The quote is, "A man can do what he wills, but he cannot will what he will. He cannot will what he wills." And basically, is in German it sounds a little different, but it was more so like you cannot change your your desires and like your passions, like those are innate and those are in you. And at some point, you become a slave. You're a slave to your emotions, and at some point, as you go up in life, you just there's less of a leeway about what you do and how you do it, and you're just going to do what you just like you're unconscious or whatever, right? You're just going to start doing more of that until whatever. And so like you can try to do this or you can try to do that, but eventually you're still just going to end up doing that type of thing. That's kind of sort of I was kind of putting things in whatever, but would it be nice, you know, because like man, life feels like a whole bunch of side quests to a main quest, but nobody told me what the main quest is. This is really good. But plot twist, the side quests are the main quests. So those type of things, like, a lot of people are struggling with purpose. What should they be doing with their time, their life, and just, being unfulfilled. Nobody has like, a majority of people feel like their life is, they don't do anything purposeful with their life or their time or their day. So they have this, I'm not sure the feeling, but they don't feel well. I don't feel so well, Mr. Stark. So it's one of those like, but they don't do something different, and they can just continue to just be sad and mope and just go throughout life. So this is one of them things. But so would it be? How would you feel if at a certain point in time in your life where things were like, do this, do this, do this, and do this type of thing, like, and like if you how would you like that? Like, if you had a book, right? Let's say like you actually like whenever you're 2202, as I'm saying this, but like if you actually had a book and basically the book told you what you're supposed to be doing, right? And and it was just that, right? How would you like that? Would you like it? Or would you like 22, would you do something different? Or would you be like, all right, let me just get this stuff done? Would you try to do as many things you possibly could do? Or, those type of things, That's basically, that's what one of the things I'm trying to say. Or even if you had access to it for a little bit of time, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, okay, this is more concise than what I'm trying to like put it though. Like, because basically it's like, because it's telling them you've been activated and like, like Saturn's return or anything like that. And so like you've been activated. So do this, do this, do this. And like, let's say you got a checklist. Let's say you're given that, and would you do it, and how well would you stick to it? Like, all right, okay, I just did this, I just did this. Like, and how scary it could be, or whatever those actions you got to take and whatnot. So do this, do that, do this, do this, do this. Like, and it's just a checklist. Like, if you were given a checklist for things that you should be doing, like you should do with your life, like you just got to do it. And would you be trying to like get as much of it done? Completionist, go above and beyond, if you could go above and beyond. These are those fate and destiny type of questions. Or would you get it all, try to get it all done? Or could you do more than that? You know what I'm saying? And would you strive to do more? And so would you try to get done as quickly as possible? Or would you take your time? Like, those are things, like if you was given that, and then maybe even what I'm trying to relate to is like, what if like you're unconscious or you're subconscious or anything like that, right? And if part of that, remember, you can't change your emotions and your desires and like those things that you truly just want to do with your life. So if you were given, like, let's say like the book that I'm saying here talking about, let's say that book of the things that you're supposed to do with your life is your subconscious or your unconscious or whatever, right? And so you be ignoring it, or you be like, I don't want to do this or this and that third. But then eventually, like, okay, I got it done. I did that. And then like you just keep going through the list of things. But what if like that list of things that you're supposed to do with your life is your subconscious? And how well would you like either listen to it or disobey it, volleyball between those thoughts of I'm gonna do this or not do that, you know? And then, the other part of whether it didn't, this is just rhetoric philosophy. It's just like, okay, well, you didn't complete. Let's say it was only 10 things, just for conversational purposes, but you only did one in this lifetime, and then in another lifetime you did two. One lifetime you did none. It's like that type of thing, and it's like, okay, when are you ever going to complete all the whatchamacallits? So that is what I'm thinking about, sort of right now. And then I think, well, just to finish, just this last little point, but just like, let's say you're more in tuned and at a certain time, becoming aware or conscious of just certain things, and you're like, all right, well, let me start listening to it and let me start doing X, Y, and Z, and what it like, because because that would be another part though too, right? If you do get access to it, let's say, because I don't know how long this movie is and this and that, boom, boom, but let's say you get access to it, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, you know what? I am gonna follow this, and I am gonna do this, and but you only get access to it for a certain period of time. That would be a scary part too, because it's like, well, shoot, well, as long as I have access to it, let me get as much stuff I've done, and before it gets to a point of like, let's say the access get restricted, or because if you do stick with it, you continue to have access to it. Rhetoric and philosophy, people. Rhetoric. This was really nice. That was really good. That was really good. This is my reaction and recap. 39 minutes. Eagle eye. All right, I'm gonna continue.